Incredible price action coming out of COSM today, meeting and surpassing some of the targets we were looking at from yesterday's analysis. Let's go ahead and validate what could be happening for the following sessions. What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by once again on this Taco Tuesday. This is ARCa coming at you with a COSM technicals and raw price action thread of analysis. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share the video with a friend so that you and them could consider joining our trading community in Discord called ARCa Bulls. With that said, let's dive right into the charts. Okay, so COSM on the weekly chart. Okay, you guys, so this is further validating our opportunity that we were talking about yesterday. Please notice how from today's price action, just yesterday, the weekly candle was sitting right at about 389, around 388, or slightly just above this red candle, right? So from today's price action, you can clearly see that we are testing the triangle resistance. So it is in fact a triangle resistance that we're looking at right now. Okay, you guys. So test number 1, 2, and 3 retracement, right? And then we could be preparing for a test number 4 breakout. Okay, so right now we still have about 2 days and 23 hours to close this weekly candle. So it's still kind of an eternity away, right, to close this weekly candle. But what I am saying is that we are being presented with a macro opportunity here. Okay, so if we do close as a bullish engulfing candle formation within this weekly candle structure here, then yes, we would essentially be validating a potential upside continuation, okay, of which would then have us break out of this triangle, right? So we were talking just yesterday about breaking out of these triangles, usually at about 65 to 70% to the apex of the triangle. And in this case, you can see that we're already about that 70% zone. So it could be very likely that we can move on onwards and upwards above this breakout zone. Okay, a couple targets to look at if we do break out to the upside. Trend line number 1, which is the highest point of the triangle for a price objective I'm talking about. Okay, so yeah, the price objective number 1 is taken from the top side of the triangle to the lower point. You apply it here. It's telling us that we would go to above 1576. We have a $1 resistance zone here based on this macro breakout, right? Again, I'm not saying that we're going there. I'm just saying that per the well, my apologies. I couldn't hold that one back. Per the playbook rules, I'm saying that we would just break out of this area, and there are 3 ways that we can look at this play, right? So one of the price objectives is taken from this area, the second price objective is taken from the center of the triangle itself, and the third price objective is taken from the point of breakout. Okay, there are 3 ways of trading this, okay? So several groups look at the upside from the biggest point, several groups look at the middle, several groups look at this one, okay? So we'll go ahead and move on with, we'll take a look at this at day in and day out, right? We'll monitor it just to see if we can actually complete that upside, but complete at least one of the upsides I'm talking about. But every situation here leads us into a very bullish situation. And what I mean by that is taking the smallest iteration, which would be from about this point here, and applying it to that area of breakout, which could supposedly be here. This is why I have it right up here. It takes us to just upside of the 0.382 Fibonacci ratio at $6.01. Okay, so if that is the case, we would then be within the golden pocket, which is located between the 0.382 and the 0.618. Okay, so that would be very, very good for us to land, even in the smaller time frame break or the smaller price objective breakout. Okay, so let's go ahead and now move on to the next chart and see what we have. We have a lot of things to talk about. Yes, so within this chart, very, very interesting, the resistance that we faced, because that tiny resistance that is right here is yet again, guys, this gap on the 12 on the bi-daily chart that we've been looking at for quite some time. Okay, so this tiny gap absolutely played as that form of resistance. This is why I say, and this is why I have a lot of the a lot of the ARCa Bulls family and members keep into account their prior gaps for future play. Okay, so this is the reason why we keep those things there, because they may present an opportunity for us in the future. Okay, so just like we said, we got that resistance there, and now we are at post market right now, $4.29 presently, and coming back down to the original zone that we were talking about of resistance. Yesterday we were speaking about this zone 415 to about 419 to be the resistance area that we were talking about. The great part of this is that upon this huge upside move, very impulsive thrust today, we're retracing, right? First of all, we're already failing the 4-spot 236, but the great thing is that we're about to use the 419 or 415 zone, which is the 3-spot 618. Okay, so the 3-spot 618 ratio is a golden ratio, and that would certainly help us find support before a continuation to the upside. Okay, so this is a very bullish setup. Okay, we did notice the bullish engulfing on the buy daily iteration here, and the continuation to the upside valid confirmation candle absolutely paid out for us. Okay, definitely know the play, know the rules, and you will be able to gain an edge over your charts. Okay, so now another reason we were able to tell or understand that we were going to get an upside today were because we got two iterations of bullish engulfing candles. Okay, so what is a bullish engulfing candle structure? So it's the larger green body candle overshadowing or engulfing, hence the name, right? The smaller red body candle before it. Okay, so if you're taking into consideration two of them now, those are two very good opportunities that the upside is coming in. Okay, so another thing that we should take note now is that we have built a little bit of a gap with the closing of this candle here and the opening of this candle here. Okay, so we're just going to take note of that for future play. Okay, just like we always say, we're just going to have it there just in case of fire. Okay, even if we came back down here, that's still great. Very likely we can use this as a form of support. The price action isn't suggesting that. I am just saying that in the event where we do come down, we have a relevant area and very strong zone of support. Okay, you guys, so now let's go ahead and move on to the next chart and see what we have. Okay, so in this case, we're going to look at the RSI, starting off with the immediate short-term time frame, just like we always do. This is the 30-minute, suggesting a downside continuation. Remember that the 30-minute is likely to live out fast. Okay, so what's telling us and validating the 30-minute downside is actually the buy hourly and the 4-hour RSI. Okay, please take a look how the downside appears to be temporary. Okay, why temporary? Well, I think it's actually particular. Yeah, well, it's actually particular to both of them. All right, good. So please notice here that the RSI 14-day simple moving average on the buy hourly chart is suggesting a potential area of support before a bounce. Okay, and why would I say a bounce? Well, we have two areas of support. In fact, we do have the gravitational zone of the bull weakness percentile, and also the 14-day simple with a downside pivot here on the RSI signal. So very likely we can find a support touch there, just like we did here, and then bounce on to the upside. Okay, so very likely that can happen. In reference to the 4-hour, it could very well be the same situation. By the time this RSI signal comes down to this area here, the 14-day simple moving average will likely be around this zone here to face or to act as a valid form of support, right, alongside that gravitational zone. In this case, it would be the bear weakness percentile. So the 6-hour time frame, very likely to do a move like this, to where it actually retraces for a bit and then it continues to the upside, right? So very likely this can actually face a continuation to the downside in respects to the 30-minute buy hourly and 4-hour RSI. And now we're starting to get into tiny little pivots here. So these little pivots, I don't trust. They usually tend to fail, just like it did right here. Go ahead and notice that huge shakeout for the bears, right? So it could have been a bear trap right here, and then the continuation to the upside. So very likely what's happening right here. Okay, so now as we move on to the daily time frame and buy daily, please notice that we still have that upside pivot active right now. Okay, and that upside pivot is very significant because we are in the gravitational zone of the bear weakness percentile, very likely for us to get pulled onwards and upwards. Okay, even in the buy daily iteration here, please notice that we're approaching that gravitational zone, and we're just now creating a very important bullish cross above the 14-day simple moving average. Okay, so this would mean that we would then have two areas of support if we were to come back down from the bull weakness percentile. Okay, if we were to come back down, we definitely have this zone right here as that gravitational zone and the 14-day simple moving average looking bullish. Please take a gander at this as the 5-day RSI is starting to make its cross above the 14-day simple moving average. Absolutely bullish, okay? Please, please, please notice that now we have two valid areas of support right down here, okay? We have the gravitational zone and the 14-day simple on the 5-day time frame. This is very strong and absolutely suggesting a continuation to the upside, okay, you guys? So I am definitely excited over what was happening with COSM even as of yesterday. So we are getting that upside move today. Okay, a couple areas to keep an eye out for tomorrow is definitely going to be the previous day high, right? So meaning today. So that high would be about $4.84. I think Webull shows 483. It's going to be different per broker, right? But definitely an area for us to watch out for, and definitely an area for us to keep in into consideration for another pullback, likely to come back down and test the $4.40 zone at the 4.618 before a continuation up. Okay, so actually, if I'm let me just see out of curiosity what volatility versus momentum are. Okay, so nice. So on the 12-hour time frame, we have a play happening right now. Okay, so what we need to do is actually wait for when we're critically contracted here in volatility in volatility, which is within the 15 to 10 percentile of volatility, and start an expansion phase above those zones of 10 or 15 percentile alongside or paired with momentum suggesting an upside. This is likely a powerful move to the upside incoming. Okay, and right now we have fired that signal, and I'm talking about let's see, yesterday. That signal fired just yesterday, and we are absolutely on the way up with an upside pivot. Okay, very likely 8 hour, the same thing. So yeah, we have an upside pivot here. We are now expanding from the critical contraction zone. My apologies if you can hear that. Whatever that thing is outside, I think it was a trash truck. And we are still suggesting an upside. Okay, so very good stuff in line for ticker symbol COSM. Please remember, I'm not a financial advisor. Take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy or sell any assets whatsoever. I need you to do your own due diligence and everything will be just fine. Okay, you guys? But please refer to the links in the description below for Twitter and for Discord. Okay, so remember, just go ahead and keep an eye out for that $4.84 zone. But if we were to kind of beat this zone, then we would very likely move on to the next target. Okay, so that next target could be in a discretionary manner, it could be between the areas of about 553 and about 591. Okay, so very huge price action to be expected here. So 550, well, let's just leave it at 551 to 591. Okay, so perfect. We can just highlight this right here, and you can see those targets right there. So yeah, but with that said, you guys, I wish you well, a very good night, and I will catch you at the bell mañana. Adios.